In today's video, we'll be taking a look into how current EuroLeague and NBA big men are creating space to help their team create scoring opportunities. I go by the name of Coach Pierce, and welcome to another episode of Players Edition. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe as well as turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Be sure to check out the Coaches Edition as well, as I go into more detail on the tactics and the team aspect of things. Now, on to the reason why we are all here. The modern day big man has changed dramatically over time, as nowadays we are seeing more and more big men develop guard-like characteristics, with the likes of Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis to name a few. But what about the big men that are not the same as those two players? Because not all big men are going to have the same amount of freedom like they have. So, how are the traditional big men still able to be effective in the modern day? The biggest thing that sticks out to me is they are all elite at being able to create space for their teammates. It's all the little details that do not show up on the stats, like beating their man down the floor every single possession, or holding off their man on a post-up, or setting a solid screen. And to top it off, they do it knowing that they may not even receive the ball. They do it because it will help the team. So let's begin with our first situation. Post-up situations is a great way to create space for your teammates to drive. As players, it's important to understand how the defense is trying to guard us. If the defense is fronting or aggressively denying you the ball, try and use that to your advantage. The key is to make the contact first, as it means you're most likely going to be in control of what happens next, as you have forced the defense to react to what you're doing. In this first example, the offense has created a mismatch inside. Watch how the big is leaning into the back of his defender, forcing him up the lane. Guards also pay attention, as this read is very much on you to make. If you can see space and the defense is that high up the lane, try and attack. Because if you beat your man, then you would have eliminated two defenders and forced their rotation, creating another advantage. Bigs, once you see the guard driving, the aim is to keep your man on your back. The key to this is using a drop step as well as being in a strong athletic position, so the defender can't move you, ensuring the only way he can move you is by fouling. Again, pay attention to where the defense is and how the offense initiates the contact first. The big guy needs to be anticipating what his teammate is going to do and be a step ahead of the defense. In this example, look how proactive the offense is in finding his man first. This time, the defense is in front, trying to stop the drive. The key here is trying to drive your man up the lane as much as possible to create the space at the basket. The best way to do this is by trying to seal your man as high as possible. Pay attention to where the big man's feet are, helping him to keep his man on his back. Another great situation to try and seal your man is when the defense hedges or is in the drop coverage. The key here is for the big to get ahead of his defender, and the best way to do this is by slipping or rolling early when he sees his defender hedge. The roller has to be proactive in finding his defender, and the key is, again, to stop as early as possible to open the space for the drive. The big again needs to have a solid base and be ready for impact, as better defenders will try and get in front or take away the space. The ball handler and the wing need to also be aware of the situation. This means the ball handler needs to get the ball to the wing as soon as he sees the hedge, and the wing needs to rise early. Look at how much attention the big has drawn from doing this, and if the guard attacks, he's going to force a rotation, leaving somebody open. These next examples are of when the defense is in drop coverage. The job of the big is to make sure the on-ball defender is tied up into the screen. Then he needs to roll and again actively seek his man and seal him off. He cannot allow his man to get around and take away the space of the drive. The next key here is the ball handler. Watch how he uses a hostage dribble to keep his defender on his back. This is to give the roll man time to get ahead of the play and create space. Same as the big, he cannot allow his man back into the play and has to use his feet to cut his man off and attack the space. This requires a great amount of patience, and both players have to be on the same page. The last thing is, be careful of the offensive foul. The key is to use your body and your feet rather than using your arms to hook your defender. Win the battle of the feet. The final example is when in transition. The main key here is again more or less the same as the others. Get ahead of your defender, find him as early as possible in the key, and don't allow him to get in front. And finally, the guard has to attack the space and finish the play. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about today's skill, and also whether you have tried to implement it into your game. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I appreciate all your support so far. I've been Coach Pierce, and I'll see you all next time.